Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. I am here with my co-host and best friend D-Lo, and we are Pardon My Wisdom. We have some really good topics today, kind of revisiting a couple of things that we need to revisit. But before we get into the episode, make sure you go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. We got a goal. We already hit our first goal of 100 subscribers. Now we got another goal of 200 subscribers. So clap it up for the boys, man. Clap it up for the boys. Yes, sir.
Drink champs. Okay, we're doing a drink champs.
Hey, listen, man. But yeah, go ahead and do those two things for us. It would be greatly appreciated. So, D-Lo, what we got going on today, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we got going on this week is we talk about Ye getting canceled by everyone, losing his billionaire status.
Mhm.
Brittney Griner serving time in Russian prison after her appeal for it to be lessened was denied. And then we're going to talk about Tom Brady's season just getting even tougher.
Yeah, man. But before we get into those things, bro, hey, man, how was the last 2 weeks, bro?
It's been a while, right? Been a couple weeks since we've been on this thing. But it's so far, it's been good. Little sickness running across Charlotte. Daughter was not feeling well, but other than that, everything's good, man. You know, spending time with them, as I always say, is good.
Mhm.
So I guess we're prepared for trick or treating tomorrow. Yeah. We had this conversation a couple weeks back. So I'm not really a Halloween guy. I don't like to dress up, but I will be Fred from Scooby-Doo.
I was about to say, are you dressing up?
yeah, dog. So
okay.
I will be Fred from Scooby-Doo.
I need those pictures, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Stacey's gonna post them.
So I'm pretty sure she will. So I will definitely be screenshotting.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do me like that.
I'm just playing.
Don't do me like that.
I can do my boy like that. I can do my brother like that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, what about you? How's things been going? Fred from Scooby-Doo. You know,
and I'm guessing she's I guess she's going as what's her name? Jane?
Wow.
I don't know what her name is.
Wow. No, it's gonna be Stacey will be Daphne.
Daphne, okay.
Sage will be Velma.
Okay.
And Dalen will be Shaggy.
Shaggy, okay. Why did I do a little Scrappy Doo for Dalen?
Listen, man, I've been you pick your battles. You pick your battles, bro. You pick your battles.
That's
cool.
But
what about you? How's things been going the last 2 weeks for you?
My last 2 weeks have been cool. It's funny you said that Sage was sick too, because Sam had been sick for the past week as well. So must be like a little worldwide little bug going on, little nationwide bug. But now she's been sick for the past couple of weeks too. But she's still doing very, very well in volleyball. Of course, I just been working and spending time with her. Her birthday's coming up on Tuesday, so
okay,
gonna be spending time
Happy
with her.
Birthday to her.
For sure. So I'm gonna be spending some time with her this weekend. It is funny whenever they little kid when kids grow up, the things that they want for their birthday are so totally different, bro.
Okay.
Because back in the day it was, I want My Little Pony and I want Barbie. Now, Daddy, take me
money.
Shopping. Just take me shopping, Daddy. I'm like, you don't want nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm taking her shopping this weekend, just get her some things, but it's gonna be fun, man. So she went to a pumpkin patch this weekend with her mom, like a haunted pumpkin patch. I was like, yeah, I got that shit.
Yeah, you won't catch me out there.
Heck no. So
pumpkin patch is cool, but a haunted one, nah.
Sam liked that stuff though. It's kind of weird. Well, I mean, I'm not scary movies don't scare me because they're predictable, so I can watch a scary movie and be cool. But like doing stuff in real life, I'm liable to like have a reflex. So the employees might have a complaint against me.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. But nah, everything's been cool the past 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So we back at it, my boy. We back at it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so you said scary movies don't scare you. I'm not fooling with scary movies whatsoever.
No?
Or haunted. And no, sir. They are predictable. You are correct. But the thing about me is I won't be able to sleep at night because my mind will be racing. So I have to watch my brain. Like before I go to sleep, I have to watch something else to get my brain to think about something, and then I can go to sleep. If I don't, your boy will be up all night.
Gotcha.
And then we
Gotcha.
know why we
Gotcha. Oh,
both know
yeah.
why Sam likes Halloween and that stuff don't scare her. But we ain't getting into that.
We're not gonna get into that. Anyway, but what we got, my dog?
Yeah, man. So all right, our first topic, Kanye. After his firestorm of a week earlier this month, and where he wore the White Lives Matter shirt, and then gets on Twitter with his anti-Semitic tweets, and then his press runs where he continued to spit out anti-Semitic um, verbiage. Kanye has now been essentially canceled by every company that he worked with.
Body.
It goes from Adidas, Gaps, Balenciaga, his talent agency or his management company, and a whole host of other cancellations that he's had or disassociations that he's had. You have Jalen Brown and Aaron Donald saying they no longer want to be represented by Donda. Is it Donda Sports?
Donda Sports, yep.
Donda Sports. But the one that's most devastating that everybody knows about is Adidas cutting ties with him, which essentially loses him his billionaire status in the world. So my question to start out, Sticks, is how we feeling about Ye losing his billionaire status?
Man, it's crazy because it literally all happened within the past 2 weeks, bro. Two, maybe 3 weeks that he's been going like wild, like crazy. But it's funny because I was thinking about a lot of different American stars, and no American icon has ever self-destructed so spectacularly. Because he Kanye had it all, bro. Like power, wealth, status, but obviously it won't enough because he's been over the past, like I would say decade, maybe decade and a half. He's been doing a lot of weird stuff.
Right.
And I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago where it had to be when his mom passed, because he talked about when she passed that he kind of blamed himself for it, but I don't think he ever really got over it. But I will get into that later. But like his real like break into being like a superstar and like being all out of his own and getting out of Jay-Z's shadow was back in 2009. That's whenever he dropped 808s Heartbreaks. That's whenever he had his first invitation to Fashion Week in Paris with his with his clothing line. He partnered with Louis V. He had the new shoe deal with Nike, and that was like the first ever non-athlete to get a contract with Nike. But it was like it wasn't enough. Like his ego was so heavy that he needed more and more and more and more. And like over the past like decade and a half, the only person that could stop Kanye was himself. And he literally imploded over the past year, bro. Yep. Literally imploded. And with him losing his billionaire status, whenever Adidas took that $1.7 billion away from him, bro, in that contract, it was like it was 2.1 billion and then 400 million instantly. I was like, God, like, but
which is still like,
exactly. You still a 400 millionaire. There's nothing to sneeze at, for real,
right,
But
yeah.
2.1, nigga, that
yeah, 2.1 that's crazy to fall like that,
bro. 2.1 billion is even crazier because he was. I know, although he said he was the richest man in American history, richest black man, which wasn't true, but he was at one point. I have it pulled up right here. He was at number 5, richest black person in American history. Yep. But he was only behind Jordan, Oprah, David Stewart, and a gentleman named the richest black man was an investor named Robert F. Smith.
Smith.
But it's like, bro, like what you think, bro? What you think about the fall from his billionaire status, bro?
The fall from grace for Kanye. And I mean, it's like that meme that's out right now. The F around and find out. The more you F around, the more you find out.
Yep.
The thing that killed me about Kanye, and I mean, I saw this coming. I was hopeful that it did not come. You never want to see anybody lose that amount of money, especially somebody of the black races where we don't have that many billionaires that walk in America. Black billionaires, that is. But you saw this coming. The thing with Kanye is he went on Drink Champs and said he can say anti-Semitic stuff. He didn't say stuff, but he said, I can say anti-Semitic stuff and Adidas won't drop me. Now what? I can say anti-Semitic stuff and Adidas won't drop me. Now what? He effed around and he found out. Now what? He found out. Now what? Right? Because now you go from, as you mentioned, $2.1 billion of your net worth, and what you have to 400 million. That's a large drop.
Good
Um,
gracious.
I mean, he was so braggadocio
He was,
and
bro.
boastful about being a billionaire, and it just kind of, I won't say no, he did. He was belittling people as well in these last couple weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he was doing that before this
Not
little
as
stretch
much
of
other than
craziness he had.
Taylor Swift, but that's neither here
Right.
nor there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But like, he was like real, I'm a billionaire. You should be listening to me. We was talking to Pierce Morgan, who, I mean,
Mhm.
say what you want to about that guy, but stuff like that to me rubs me the wrong way.
Mhm.
I'm sure it rubs other people the wrong, well, obviously it rubbed other people the wrong way, but it's just crazy. Like you said,
Yeah, man.
when I think about it now, I didn't have that thought in my mind coming into our podcast today, but it might be the most devastating. What you say?
The most spectacular fall from grace. No icon
Yes,
has ever self-destructed so spectacularly.
it might be the most spectacular fall from grace, honestly.
Because
Yeah.
I even looked up a couple of people, right, that also had some kind of falls from grace, right?
Mhm.
So Michael Vick didn't fall from grace like that.
Mhm.
Joe Paterno didn't really fall from grace like that. Even
Well,
Roseanne, well, he kind of did. He kind of
well,
did, but
no, the
it
reason,
wasn't as crazy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
the reason I was gonna say for those two, Michael Vick's fall from grace was jail time, and then he came back and was able
it
to
was
kind of
going
recoup.
crazy, right?
He was able to recoup most of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Joe Paterno's fall from grace, a couple years later, he died.
True, true.
So, like, he didn't really, while, in the meantime of him going through that, being fired from Penn State and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and we're getting off topic, but still, he died literally 2 years later or a year and a half
A year
later.
and a half later, yeah, true.
Yeah, so, and I
Those
don't know
two,
anything about
yeah.
Roseanne,
But Roseanne, she at one point she dressed up as Hitler for
What?
Halloween.
Wait a minute. So, what?
She dressed up as Hitler and said some racist statements about a White House advisor who was a black
Okay.
woman. But
Condoleezza
even
Rice?
nah, I forget the name. I should have wrote the name down. But it's
Okay.
another young lady. It's another young lady. But she still, but she got canceled for her show. Got canceled because of those things. But she's still on
Right.
TV on that talk show with what is it the talk? She was still doing the talk for a little
Uh,
while. You see what I'm saying?
mhm.
So even her doing those two things didn't even fall from grace as crazy as Kanye did. So it's like
Yep.
this dude really, it's like, it, but a lot of these things, a lot of the things that he had been doing happened within the past year with Kim K and him
Mhm.
going back and forth with Pete Davidson, him wearing a White
Yep.
Lives Matter shirt. You know what I'm saying? Him using that as a platform to talk about his right wing topics. Not
Mhm.
even a couple of days later, you know what I'm saying? He went literally, in the words of Robert Downey Jr., full retard, and started saying stuff about, Death Con 3 and anti-Semitic statements about just like, bro, like, although he quickly admitted that he was wrong on Dream Test after Nori kind of forced him to do it. But
Mhm.
like he just kept saying he was jealous of the power they had and the business that they had. But it didn't make things better because in interviews following that, he was echoing those same sentiments about the Jewish people and still
Right.
being anti-Semitic. So it's like, I'm just like, bro. So that happens. You lose Gap. You lose J.P. Morgan. You lose, your contract with Creative Artist Agency. You lose a lot of things, and not to mention Adidas, which was your biggest contract. So like,
Right.
you
I
yeah, you
mean,
he
but
effed
we
around and
said
found
this.
out for real.
He effed around and found out, but we said this, Sticks, 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, however long ago it was, that he was going to do all of this, and eventually he would come back and apologize and try to recoup our
You
confidence in
definitely said
him,
that.
or
You definitely
or
said it.
whoever's confidence it is, and I believe it was Thursday when he got back on Instagram, he let off a series of posts where he was saying, he hurt his people, the black people, and he's sorry for that, for the comments he made about
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd.
Yep.
He's sorry to the Jews for the stuff that he said about them, but he was really, as you mentioned, upset and jealous is essentially
Jealous.
what he was saying
Mm-hmm.
about how they do business, how they're able to put everybody in their community on, and how they take advantage of situations.
Mm-hmm. And he was
I
trying to
mean,
make it seem like they took advantage of, they profited off of black people. That's kind of what
Right.
he was trying to say. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, it's like even with Adidas, they cut them 1.7 billion. They cut them, and
Mhm.
it's gonna cost Adidas 2.46 million dollars this last quarter, which is about 10%. Which is because he costed them. I think he was
Million
about
or billion?
million. So
Okay.
their earnings this quarter would have been about 2.246 million dollars because Yeezy was almost 10%
Billion
of
or
their
million? That don't seem
million.
right.
It just quarterly earnings. It ain't got nothing to do with his
Oh,
contract. The
still
quarterly earnings
that's
for fourth
okay.
quarter. So their
Okay.
fourth quarter earnings is going to take a $246 million hit
Mhm.
because Kanye was about 10% of their company. But
Okay.
you had to be you had to have done some, which he has done some wild shit over the past couple of weeks, but
For sure.
over the past year, really. But
Yeah,
it's
for a
like,
couple years.
yeah. So for a company like Adidas to take that much of a hit to their earnings, and they drop you, like
Mhm.
you had to have done something. But I remember when Kanye was a dope bro back in 03 to 06, 07 with college dropout, late registration, graduation, those
All
classics,
classics.
bro.
All classics.
Classics. And I still listen to this day. Like, dude was at one point the biggest rapper even over Common, the biggest rapper in Chicago. Like, he was bigger
Mhm.
than Russell Simmons at Def Jam. He was bigger than Diddy as a producer at one point. Like, he was with Virgil at Louis V. But like, it just over these years, bro, he just kind of after 2007, when Donda died, it was a
Yep.
wrap. It was
Yeah.
a wrap, bro.
Yeah.
It was a wrap, bro.
And it's crazy that he's spitting out all of this nonsense. Regardless, I don't want to say regardless, but he's spitting out all of this nonsense about Jews, but and other races, but he's also spitting out this stuff about black people,
Yeah,
especially
bro.
after we learned about his mother's background and his father's background and how
Mm-hmm.
they were closely tied to the social movement for black people and
Mm-hmm.
what they stood for. And then you come out and say this. Listen, I'm all for freedom of speech. I don't condone hate though.
I don't
Um,
condone hate. Yeah, that's
yeah, I
true.
mean, you can tell the truth about certain situations, but and that's fine, but don't be promoting hate. And I don't think that was really his intent. It just came off that way and he just ran with it. It's like
Yep.
I'm not gonna back down from it. But yeah, he's just been doing some wild stuff
He has,
this
bro.
especially
Yeah.
this last year, but
Especially the
really in the
last year.
last 5, 6 years, honestly.
Man.
So
So what year was it? So he interrupted Taylor Swift. Well, that was back in like '09 at the MTV Music Awards.
yeah, I think so. That's right.
So he did
Something right.
that, then went on to marry the modern day Marilyn Monroe and Kim
Mhm.
K,
Mhm.
and then cussed out Sway,
Yeah.
to my he didn't have all the answers.
Mhm.
And but then end up coming back and say he did have the answers, which is kind of crazy. But then,
That's who Kanye
but
is.
that's who Kanye
We have
is, like you said. You've been saying
we
that.
have to know that. We have to know that. That's who he is. He's gonna do something to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it works out in his favor. I don't know how.
Yep.
And then the backlash hits and he apologizes because he
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't he doesn't want to be the confrontational, the backlash type person. He doesn't wanna
Mm-hmm.
be at the center of controversy.
True.
I don't think okay, I'll say this. I don't think he truly wants to be the center of controversy. It
Right.
just happens to follow him. It just
Yeah.
happens to be that's who he is, that's how he comes off. So he comes back and apologizes for it because he doesn't wanna be that person,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But then he'll say that and apologize and do something else dumb. Like
2 weeks later.
he apologized to Sway, and then like the next year, Buddy was in bed with Donald Trump and talking about
Yeah.
slavery was a choice.
Slavery was a choice. Well, him signing that contract with Adidas, and we're about to get into it. Them still being able to own everything that he's done with them in the last couple years
Facts.
and
Facts.
still
Facts.
profit off of it. That was your
Facts.
choice to sign that contract.
Mm-hmm. But
So, how you feel about that, bro? With Adidas being able to still keep the products that the Yeezy line produced with Adidas and just rebrand it as Adidas
mm-hmm.
moving forward and
Moving
still
forward.
profit off of the Yeezy brand.
Um, I think I think it's kind of I think Adidas is kind of legit whack for for still trying to profit off of Yeezy and but the only thing is Adidas doesn't own the branding Yeezy, but they own the designs.
The designs, exactly.
They
Yeah.
own the design. So technically, they have right to sell the design, right? And just
Right.
rebrand. They have right to do that. But it's
Yeah.
kind of whack to continue to profit off of it. I don't think they should do it, honestly. But they just I mean, I think it's I think it's corny. I think it's fucking corny.
It ain't kinda whack. It is whack.
It is whack. Well,
If
there
you
you go.
you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't want anything to do with the person that the brand stands for and that the brand is really.
Mm-hmm.
But so you get rid of them, cut the money that you have to pay to them,
Mm-hmm.
but you then in turn around say, we don't want this person, but we'll take all of this product that they represent, which is the
Mm-hmm.
Yeezy shoes, clothing, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna still profit off it moving forward, just under strictly the Adidas brand.
Adidas brand, right?
That's
Kind of
whack.
that shit's whack as hell. That shit's whack as hell.
That is lame.
It's lame as hell.
Because and this is why people don't like corporations because they do shit like this. They will use and chew up people as much as they want to,
Mm-hmm.
but still at the end of the day, it's all about the dollar or the money,
For
the
sure.
revenue that they're bringing in.
For
And
sure.
they don't. It's like they don't care about. All they care about is the image that they have with the public,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody else that they work with, and nobody else that works for them. If you're helping them, they're great. If you're not, get the hell out the way and bring in the
Nah,
next
facts.
person. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
But they're never gonna find a personality or a icon as big as what Kanye was. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I think with them, it sucks to say this, but it's kind of true. I think with them actually dropping Kanye and dropping that $1.7 billion, they're gonna it's gonna be because see, I can't even say that because Yeezy was making so much money through
Right.
Adidas because this new generation was buying up those ugly ass fucking foam runners and those slides and even some of those
Yep.
ugly designs that they had with the Yeezys anyway. I was like, I didn't. Some of them was cool, but I didn't really much like them. I've never bought any. I know you said you
Yep.
hadn't either.
Nah, man. I don't own any Yeezys, and I definitely
Mm-mm.
don't plan on buying any Adidas branded Yeezys moving forward.
At
It's just
all, at
at
all,
all. Yeah.
at all.
It's just bad energy.
It is very much
It,
so bad energy. So it's like
it,
I don't.
so
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say it was bad energy for Kanye. This is how all this stuff ties in together. It was bad energy for Kanye when he said slavery was a choice,
Mm-hmm.
and energy spun the block on him and was like, okay, well, slavery was a choice. Well, go ahead, sign that contract.
Mm-hmm.
He signed that contract, said the stuff that he said, not thinking Adidas was gonna drop him. They
Right.
dropped him, he loses his billionaire status. So now Adidas is in basically that same position that they put Kanye in, is they were already their stock was already hurting before all of this,
Yep.
like, came out.
Yep.
And then now they dropped Yeezy, Ye, as what he goes by now.
Mm-hmm.
And so and they plan on to continue to sell that shoe that or those shoes that he's made them so much money off of. We're gonna see. So we talked about Steph Curry and Under Armour
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks ago. We're gonna see now where Adidas goes with their designs and whatnot, and how they benefit or how they don't benefit from what they have done or what they plan to do moving forward.
But see, I don't see any of those designs selling because with the negative attention that Ye has been
Mhm.
bringing, what I'm saying, Adidas here recently, or just the negative attention that he has, period.
Yep.
Why do they feel like that those designs are gonna sell? Like, ain't no Jewish people gonna buy them, and
Right.
like a lot of black folk aren't really on Yeezy side right now either. Because so why do you think that rebranding the shoes and rebranding those designs are gonna sell just because you took his name off of them? They still know it's a Yeezy, bro. Like the design
Right.
ain't
I don't
changing.
exactly. I don't think the actual Adidas branded design sells, but supposedly or reportedly, based off of StockX numbers,
I was about to say
uh,
that. I was about to say
the
that.
Yeezys, the
Mm-hmm.
current Yeezys have like skyrocketed
Skyrocketed.
for
The
people
resale value
wanting
of
to
those
have their
joints are
hands on it. Right.
crazy.
Their resale is crazy right now, which is kind
Crazy.
of weird. If and that lets you also know we get into this too, is what the media the narrative that the media tries to portray and
Mhm.
what's actually going on in the streets.
Right.
Because if you listen to the media, everybody hates Kanye, and
True.
rightfully they probably
And
actually
rightfully
do,
so. Yeah, true.
and rightfully so. Um, here nor there, but
Right.
what actually go and or the last thing about Yeezy is nobody wants his clothes. Goodwill doesn't want any more Yeezys.
I saw that too. That's
XYZ,
crazy.
you know what I mean? But people are buying them and the value has skyrocketed. That doesn't make sense.
So the difference between of course I'm a sneakerhead. So there's
Yeah,
a difference between, these big companies wanting to do anything with his product and the buy sell trade
I get that.
arena. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
somebody like me back in the day when I used to actually buy, sell, and trade shoes and like
Mhm.
put my shoes on StockX and things of that nature, that has nothing to do with retail.
Right.
People feed into drama. People feed
Mhm.
into those things. So if it's something going around Yeezy and and people within that StockX community and the GOAT community and even the eBay resale community, they're going to see that, oh shit, these people are buying these shoes like crazy. I need to up my values or put
Yep.
a new price tag on them joints. So they'll go from somebody reselling a pair of Yeezy 750s for 250, and then
Mhm.
they'll research and see, oh damn, this person's selling hers for 400, this person's selling his for 450. I need to put mine at 475, and it'll still sell because Ye has so much drama around him right now, and it's such a hot topic, and people are like really like, oh, I need to buy me some Yeezys now. I need to support. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
that's the difference. Ain't nothing. These companies ain't got nothing to do with the buy sell trade community because they gon' up their prices regardless. The resale community is so crazy, bro. It's so crazy.
Right.
Because I remember
No.
you could probably get a pair of Yeezys back in the day for like 175 retail, but they'll buy all of those shoes and resell every single pair for about double the price at 350.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with the resale. Goodwill ain't got nothing to do with the resale community, bro.
No, no, no. I get that. What I the point I was trying to make was that the media will paint this narrative as
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants his product because of all the anti-Semitic, all of the anti-black information that he's putting out.
True.
But in reality, that's not the case. You have people buying his shoes, whether it's resale or actual retail. They're actually buying his products.
Right.
So, and how this ties all together with the Adidas point is, yeah, their stuff is selling now, but when they rebrand it as just Adidas and rather than Yeezy, how is it gonna do? And I'm
True.
thinking based off of the energy that they're putting out with basically doing wrong by Kanye and by the whole culture, they're not gonna fare well in the future. But who knows? We'll see. Is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, true, true, true. But I mean, it's so many of these companies that are, you know, he's a former Forbes list billionaire, but they paint him as this toxic asset to the point
Hmm.
where like even his best friend Candace wouldn't even have him on her podcast, and he was supposed to buy Parlor from her
Hmm.
husband, but now he don't even want to sell to him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's like,
Yep.
and we ain't even brought this up yet. He pulled up the sketches unannounced and got shoot off.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
saw
know what
that.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he trying to sell his designs to Skechers now. Like,
Well, I just think he's trying to find a manufacturer that will help him put out his design. Um, and what I think he trying to do is find a American manufacturer to
yeah,
do all of this.
yeah.
But somebody, I forgot who it was, but what somebody said is that, oh no, it was Rashad Bilal from Earn Your
Okay,
Leisure.
got you.
He said what he feels like Kanye is going to end up doing, or what he
I think I
should
saw that
do.
post on Instagram too.
Yeah, what he should do is go duck off to China
I saw
for
that.
6 to 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
work out with one of those manufacturers that'll sell them, that'll manufacture his shoes or his products, and then pop back up online and sell his products.
Like an online
Because
boutique.
China has that, yeah, because China has an infrastructure, they
Yeah,
make everything anyway.
yeah.
They have the infrastructure to take that on. They don't care about any of the they definitely don't care about any of the politics that's going on in America right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Kanye, but what Rashad said was he has enough will, enough not will, but enough clout and enough power
Mm-hmm.
to get the dollar to come in for the Chinese manufacturer, and so
Yeah,
he
I
feels
saw
like
that
that would
post.
be a good move for him.
It would be.
I
I
don't
think it
know.
would.
I don't know
You don't
how
think
well
so?
it would be
Well,
received. I
yeah.
just don't know. I don't know how well it would be received, especially for right now. I guess in time we could tell he definitely wouldn't be able to do it right now.
Right.
But maybe in a year and a half, 2 years, once again
Once
all
things
of this
calm down a
dies
little bit.
down, he'll probably be able to pull it off. But right now, I don't know. My thing is what I hate about this whole situation. I don't feel sorry for Kanye,
At all.
but what I don't like is how, again, we talk about the media is painting this narrative, is how
Mm-hmm.
boastful they were of him losing his billionaire status.
Yeah,
Um,
true, bro.
and
Yeah,
it's like
man.
as soon as it came out that Adidas was dropping him, as soon as all of that was publicly known, my timeline, Twitter, Instagram, blah blah blah, all the media headlines Kanye or Ye no longer billionaire status no more. Yeah, I even
Mm-hmm.
saw one that said billionaire status no more with a smile emoji on it.
That's
What?
tough. I didn't see
I mean,
that
that's
one.
tough. That's tough. I mean, again,
But
I
hey,
don't feel sorry for him. He dug this hole for himself,
he made his
but
bed. He
the
gotta
way
lay in it
the
now.
exactly the way the media portrays the way the media is doing him right now, I don't think they would
Mm-hmm.
do anybody else this way. Whether they took on the boastful
True.
way that he bragged about his money or not. I don't see them doing
See, did they do?
Elon Musk like this. I don't see them doing
Okay.
anybody, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
mean, Elon Musk isn't as
Well,
boastful
well,
as
he is, but Elon Musk has been known to be an asshole, though. You know what I'm saying? Like he has been known, so
exactly.
they might just because of who Elon Musk has painted himself to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
He hasn't done no crazy stuff like what Kanye's been doing over the past
exactly.
decade and a half. But at the same time, it's like they might not go as hard, but the media was still probably not. That's tough. Elon is tough because Elon has been known to be an asshole, but
Exactly.
so Elon is tough to say, but I don't think they would. I agree with you though. I don't think they would have boasted so much for that fall from grace as hard as they did for Kanye because they definitely went hard and
Right.
just all these posts, bro. And it's nah, I'm not gonna say that because I don't want to get into no racial type of things,
Right.
but there's a lot of undertones going on, a lot
Right.
of undertones. So I mean, it's just weird. It's so many people because he was supposed to have Camille Vasquez, who was Johnny Depp's lawyer, to do his
Mhm.
divorce thing, but she won't even touch him now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
I mean, he definitely has put himself in this corner. He has to fight his way out. I definitely believe that. But we have to offer people grace.
yeah, yeah, agreed.
You
I
know how
agree.
I am about situations. We are more complex individuals than we realize.
Hmm.
Every situation is not linear.
Right.
So what works for you doesn't work for me. When I get into trouble, my way out of it isn't the same as your way, and so on and so forth for any individual.
Hmm.
So, but I think the media and today's age and climate that we're in with social media, and everybody, getting news immediately doesn't help us offer anybody grace, which is kind of
Gotcha.
why this movement for freedom of speech, and censoring and canceling individuals is so toxic because it makes you not want to say anything or reluctant to say anything
True.
because you aren't offered any grace when you make a mistake.
Yeah,
Now, granted,
that's true.
Kanye has made way, way too many mistakes,
Way too
but
many,
I
bro.
feel like we still should offer him at least a little bit of grace and really dig into what he is trying to say rather than just take it for face value.
True.
Um, Again, he doesn't help himself with his arrogance. So maybe the grace that we offer him is super small,
True.
but at least offer him a little bit of grace.
At least offer a little bit. I mean, and it just goes back to what we said. What I'm saying a couple of weeks ago, man, is that Kanye has some mental health issues that he needs to work out. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I lost my mom. It was hard. Lost my grandma,
Mhm.
lost my dad, lost my uncle, lost a lot of, very, very important people in my life. The most important
Yep.
people in my life.
Yep.
Growing up. So I don't think he gave himself a lot of a proper time to heal from that. And
Mhm,
he needs to figure out exactly how he can deal with it because it's driven him, for lack of a better term, crazy
mhm.
since she passed away. So I mean, he just got to figure it out, man. He got to figure it out because he has dug himself a hole, and he's almost he's almost dug himself a grave because he's
For sure.
losing a lot, bro. He's losing a lot. He's lost a lot, and I don't want him to get to a situation where he loses everything because of the
Right.
things that he's saying and the thought process that he has. And I think Kanye means well. He just has a bad way of relaying the messages.
He has a terrible way of relaying the messages.
Yeah, bro.
He it's like he runs with the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, he does. He does.
But, I
I think all
this
of
is
these
gonna sound.
theories are his theories though. Like
You
he's
think
like,
so?
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
I think a lot of the things that he goes off on are things that he thinks within his own mind. I don't think it's like a lot of things that are out in the public because a lot of this, bro, like the
It's not common knowledge.
it's not,
It's not.
yeah, correct.
Yeah,
And it's,
that's
yeah,
why I said that's why and I hate that I be cutting you off. I
no, you're good,
apologize
you're
about
good,
that.
you're good, you're good, you're good.
But that's why I kinda stopped and said, "You think it's just his?" Because and this could be another topic for another day. Now
Right,
you have Kyrie coming out and saying he didn't say anything anti-Semitic, but
right.
he posted something that the mainstream media said had anti-Semitic undertones in it. I think
I didn't see that.
I
We're
think
talking
Imma
about
take a look at it to see just exactly what it is, and then draw my own opinions on it. I like to do that rather
hmm
than just go off of what people say, but
right.
I think for if you're not in a certain level of status or you're not floating in certain circles,
hmm
the stuff that is talked about in those circles aren't talked about
In
in the
our
wide
circles,
variety in
yeah.
our circles. So it to us, it does seem like, and then this is a thought. This
hmm
is not fact. I don't know for sure.
Right.
To us, it seems like a conspiracy. To them, is just what they see on
It's just
a
common knowledge to
everyday
them, but
basis,
it's not to
common
us.
knowledge, right? Right. So we say that they're conspiracy theories, but we don't really know.
True. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So let us know what you think about that in the comments down below. Yeah, we'd be happy to hear what you think about it.
For sure, for sure. What's your final thoughts on the Kanye thing, bro?
So my final thoughts about Kanye is, I stand on everything I said about him in previous weeks. I think he needs to be held accountable for the stuff that he has done, his actions, his statements that he's made. But again, complexity.
Mhm,
I do think we need to offer him some type of grace, hold him accountable, make him understand the stuff that he said is hurtful or has been hurtful.
mhm,
He can't be spewing out that type of stuff because him as an individual may not mean any harm, but to the people that follow him or take his statements to heart that
mhm.
can do harm, they will do harm.
Right.
Um, so he needs to chill with all of that. Uh, and as I knew he would, he has come out and apologized, but this is only
Mhm,
after he's lost his billionaire status,
mhm.
for the anti-Semitic, anti-Black statements that he's made.
For sure.
Um, one thing we did not talk about, and we can have a whole nother topic about it, is what took these companies so long to release Ye.
True.
And we didn't talk about it, but
Mhm,
we can talk about it, another podcast, another segment, another podcast.
mhm.
But he's been saying stuff like this for so long. I think it's about time that unfortunately he was humbled.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where, it finally just boiled over. And a lot of the things that he had been doing over the past decade and a half, it just, it was just a straw that broke the camel's back at this point. And, I really hope that Kanye takes this as a life lesson, not just a learning lesson,
Mhm,
but a life lesson,
mhm,
because he's on the path to he's already self-destructed,
mhm.
but he's on the path to legit losing everything, and he just needs to number one kind of get some help, but then look inward to understand that, bro, I gotta chill. I really
I
gotta
got
chill
you.
because I'm doing too much. I've been doing too much. I can't do no more. So hopefully
Right.
he does that.
Right. All right, so Brittney Griner will serve time in a Russian prison. On February 17th of this year, 2022, Brittney Griner, WNBA star,
Mhm.
was arrested at a Moscow airport as she was leaving Moscow to come back home to start the WNBA season.
Mhm.
She was arrested for carrying 2 vape cartridges for hash oil.
Mhm.
Cannabis oil is essentially what it was.
Mhm.
Um, she has since been held in the Russian detention, where on August 4th she was sentenced to 9 years prison uh, for charges of possessing and smuggling drugs,
Mhm.
which again
Smuggling.
for
Smuggling is crazy.
smuggling is wild.
Wow.
Well, again, for 2 vape cartridges
Mhm.
that were less than a gram combined.
Right.
Um, she appealed it
Mhm.
to have a lesser sentence. She didn't think like she would get out of it, but she appealed it
Mhm.
to have a lesser sentence, which was only reduced by a couple of weeks due to the time she has currently been serving in the Moscow or the Russian prison. So she's still going to do essentially 9 years.
Mhm.
Uh, despite setbacks, despite all the setbacks, it said that Brittney Griner is a high priority to get back into America, along with Marine Paul Whelan.
Mhm.
Their top priorities. Six, how you feeling about this situation?
So says that Brittany was wrongfully detained
Yeah.
since February, and we both got a popular opinion about that. But it's one of those things where like her, and we already talked. You already talked about Mr. Whalen, Paul
Yep.
Whalen, who's the U.S. Marine. But her detention, I think, relates to the Russia's war in Ukraine, but also negotiations for prisoner swaps.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so you said the word smuggling is crazy. So like, come on, bro. So she was it was recommended to her by her doctors
Hmm.
to use hash oil, not the actual cannabis itself, but the hash oil, which is just the oil that comes from it. But to use that to help her with some of the injuries and some of the pain, the aches and pains that she was having, which cannabis has been suggested for years now, for not just
Hmm.
her, but for millions, for thousands and thousands of athletes, because it
Hmm.
has so many positive, such positive reactions to those things. So it's like for you to say that she was smuggling, which 2 cartridges that's less than a gram together combined, smuggling is crazy. Smuggling I think of, but you got kilos. That's what
You
I
got you got
like. You
that
got
weight.
weight, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and you
You
talk about
push.
two less than a gram, bro. Like,
Yeah,
is smuggling, bro? You
9
had
years for it.
9 years, and like you said, she tried to. The maximum penalty in Russia for that is 10. So
Hmm.
she didn't get the maximum penalty, and of course, like you said, she tried to appeal it to get lesser time, but it was just out of good faith, just to kind of see what would happen. But they never expected for anything to happen from that. But it's like
Yeah.
they have argued that Griner had not intended to smuggle narcotics at all, which I know that wasn't her intention. She's a professional athlete. She's a known athlete. She's a superstar in the WNBA. Why would she ever plan to do that?
Hmm.
But it, I don't know if you saw. Well, you probably did, but the Biden administration has been trying to strike a deal with Russia to get them free for a minute now.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, um, you said Paul. I got the information right here. Paul Whalen, who was a U.S. Marine, who was accused to being a spy, which was supposedly spying on Russia back in 2018, was sentenced to 16 years back in 2020. So hopefully we can do something to get both of them freed here in the near future, man. But what do you think about the wrongfully detained? What you got on that, bro? What you got
So,
on
all right, listen, I let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
Go ahead and get
And
out the way,
and
bro. Go
I
ahead and get
I
out the
know
way.
I will get some backlash and some what I'll get backlash for this. But you probably shouldn't do illegal shit in other countries. Point blank period, right?
Bingo.
And but that's out the way. So you shouldn't do wrong illegal shit in other countries.
Right.
In Brittany Griner's defense,
Mm-hmm.
let's look at the Russian law when it pertains to marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
which that's what hash derives from is marijuana, cannabis.
Right.
So surprisingly, it's completely illegal in Russia. That means no medicinal use, no recreational use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, Based off of the country's law, you can be fined or serve prison time for having marijuana
Mm-hmm.
or cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
In 2012, they altered the rule for those um, that have addictions, that have addiction issues.
Mm-hmm.
And along with that, it is said that if you are carrying small amounts up to 6 grams,
Mm-hmm.
the maximum fine, the what you can have for that is a fine of 5,000 rubies or
Mm-hmm.
rubles. What's the
I can't. I
currency?
don't know how to pronounce it, but you
Yeah,
on the right track.
5,000
Uh-huh.
and 2 weeks in prison
Mm-hmm.
for up to 6 grams.
Right.
So, was she wrongfully detained? Abso-freaking-lutely. She was wrongfully detained and sentenced.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, she should be back home. She should have served her time
Mm-hmm.
or paid her fine
Mm-hmm.
and been back home many months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the time frame, which unfortunately she got caught at the
During
start
the.
of this
Mm-hmm.
Russia-Ukraine war,
Mm-hmm.
she's being used as a political pawn to send a
Yep.
message to us,
Yep.
or to get the arms dealer
The arms dealer
back
back. Yep.
back from America.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, we're talking about somebody that we're talking about somebody that had less than a gram of cannabis in exchange for an arms dealer.
Mm-hmm.
That shit don't add up.
It don't, bro. It
That
don't.
don't add up.
It don't.
I mean, so was she wrongfully detained? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Has she been wrongfully sentenced? Absolutely. Even her Russian lawyer said by Russian standards, this sentence is egregious.
Egregious. Mm-hmm.
So it's only one thing that tells me it's only one reason why she's being held, because of who she is. Even though we don't really, again, an unpopular opinion to maybe not to men, but to women, they ain't gonna want to hear this. Even though we don't watch the WNBA, she's a star in
Mm-hmm.
the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
And she was over there, as she said, helping spread the game of basketball to the Russian, I think, Russian Federation.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was hoping that just doing that, she would get, a lesser time. But unfortunately, it hasn't happened. And they are definitely using her
As
as
a
a
pawn,
political pawn
for sure.
to send a message to America.
They are, and I'm gonna take a different stance. Was
Okay.
she wrongfully detained? No, she was
Okay.
rightfully detained, but she
Yep.
was wrongfully sentenced
Okay.
because
Yes.
she had well less than I guess what the standard is. Say something.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Okay, she had well less than what the standard is for what the $5,000 fine and the 2 weeks in prison was.
Mm-hmm.
So she was going to get at least some kind of reprimand
Sometime.
for what she got,
Right.
right? At
Right.
least at the most the 2 weeks, right? But
Yep.
the timeline just didn't. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to get the gentleman's name, what they call the merchant of death,
Uh-huh.
Victor Bout. He's the Russian arms dealer that they're trying to swap. They're trying to swap Mr. Paul Whelan and Brittney Griner for, but he's at the time right now serving 25 years here in prison for trying to sell weapons in the conspiracy to kill American soldiers or Americans in general. But
Mm-hmm.
no, she was. I don't think she was wrongfully detained. She was
That's a good point.
rightfully
You're right.
detained,
You're
but
right.
she was definitely wrongfully sentenced. How you go from a $5,000 fine and 2 weeks in prison
To
to 9
9 years.
years?
God dang.
So that's crazy. And do I think she's going to serve those 9 years? No, I don't think she
I
will
don't
serve
know.
the full
You
sentence.
ever been to Russia? You ever been in jail outside? I mean, I know you haven't been to jail, period, but have you been to jail in any other country? No. So
No,
you don't know what they're going. That's why I said what I
very
said.
true.
You shouldn't do illegal
Illegal
shit in
shit
other
in
countries
other countries.
because
True.
especially with countries that we have tension with. So Russia, China, yeah, if I'm going over there, I'm on my P's and
On
Q's, bro.
P's and Q's.
I'm
What?
not doing anything
Head on
out
a
of the
swivel.
ordinary. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because stuff like you never know when you could be in the middle of something that you had no idea was going on,
Had nothing to do with you.
and now you are being made a pawn. You're being used as a piece in a game that you didn't know you were a part of.
Facts. I don't, so, but I mean, I guess I'm a retract that just a little bit. I honestly do think that with all the backlash that the government is going to get from, of course, the black community, the female community,
Mhm.
the WNBA, the athletes, the
Mhm.
sports community, they're going to figure something out to get Brittney back in the U.S.
Yep.
Now, do I think they should give up that orange dealer? Hell no, because
Yeah.
he was trying to kill us, bro. He
Right.
was trying to sell weapons to get to off Americans. So like, but that's really that seems like the
The only
only
viable option.
viable option for them, because just like you said, the Secretary of State Blinken, Anthony Blinken, said that they tried back on July 27th. They put a deal on the table to release Brittney, but just the thought of releasing the Merchant of Death is
Mhm.
crazy to them. Like it's gonna be hard for them to let him go in replace of, and it's gonna sound bad me saying this, but it's gonna be hard for them to let the Merchant of Death go for a WNBA superstar. And
For a gram, less than a
for
gram.
less than a gram
It
of
just don't
hash
make
oil.
sense,
It
man.
just don't make sense, and it's unfortunate for Brittney because, like you said, it just happened at an inopportune time when Russia was invading Ukraine, and now of course, we're the bully. So of
Yep.
course, Ukraine was trying to get us to come help them. So now Russia's
Yep.
like, okay, cool, we're gonna take Brittney. What y'all gonna do?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was such bad timing for Brittney. It was such bad timing for her. But again, like D-Lo said, don't do illegal shit in other fucking countries.
Yeah.
Be on your shit, bro. And if you're gonna do any, like, well, nah, I ain't gonna say that. But just don't do it. Just don't
Yeah.
do it. I don't care if it's recommended. You have to know the rules of these countries. So if
Mhm.
you knew that it's completely frowned upon in that country, completely illegal, why
Mhm.
even try to get it back into the country, bro?
Well, I
You know
mean,
what I'm saying?
the thing is she was playing basketball over there.
For sure.
She said she mistakenly took the cartridges with her entering the country.
Mm-hmm.
2 thoughts here. 1, just because you took it in the country don't mean you have to take it out.
For sure.
Alright, you could have just been like, "Alright, I know this shit is illegal here. Let me just throw this away somewhere."
Mm-hmm.
Go on about your way. Or 2, just because it's illegal there, just like how it was here in America, they be doing that shit all over the place. I mean, it has to be something going on over there. If they amended the law saying if you have drug addictions, this is the new way that we're going to handle your court
Mm-hmm.
cases. So maybe she thought, all right, well, I'm I'm good just with this little bit.
Right.
All they're gonna do is probably just throw it away,
Give
and
me
I
a
can go on
fine,
about my
yeah,
way.
or
Right.
at least
Give me a
give me
fine.
the fine, $5,000.
Yeah,
Cool, I got
I can go
that.
on about
Yeah,
my way. So
right.
so I mean, I guess I can see that we've all done stuff that we probably shouldn't have done here in the country, but again, it's here in the country. You don't you don't do that in other countries for sure.
Okay. So I just had a thought, deal. So I
I'm
had a thought.
listening.
So the amended law was for people who have addictions.
Mhm.
Maybe they realized that Brittany ain't have no addiction to this stuff, and that's why
I
her
get it.
fine was greater than what the addiction fine would have been, or the addiction. You know what I'm saying?
I get
Because
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what
no,
I mean.
I get
So
that.
that's probably
It's
why she got the almost maximum, because they probably looked at her like, Brittany ain't got no addiction to this stuff. But in the same sense, how would you figure that out? How do you?
well,
Well, I guess you can look at somebody and tell, but how would you know
or
that
they have
somebody
some
is
type of
addicted?
record with the addiction.
Yeah.
They've
Okay.
been to
True.
treatments and stuff like that, or they've been arrested
But
many
hold
times
up, but no,
before.
but see, even that's stupid, D'Lo, because if you've been arrested for it before and you got the
It ain't my
maximum
law,
of,
bro.
well, true, but if somebody
It's not my law.
if somebody in Russia got arrested for it before, then they got 10 years, right? But
Mhm.
then they get out after those 10 years, and they form an addiction to it, it's ass backwards. That shit is
It
ass
ain't my
backwards.
sticks is not my law,
I think
bro.
it should be a buildup. I think it should be like, okay, you got caught, okay, $5,000, 2 weeks in jail. All right, cool. Then you keep doing it, then you build up to the 10 years. Why the hell are you going backwards?
So we've already said why it's the way it is. She's a pawn right now. She's a game in the chessboard.
She is a
She's a
game
piece
on it. She
of the
is a
chessboard.
pawn. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a piece on the chessboard
It just don't make
because
no
I mean,
damn
and
sense.
we're also thinking about American law to where
True.
it's the 3 strikes you're out rule.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you
Yeah.
do it, it's a build up, and then okay, we're gonna throw you in prison.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. What we know it
True.
to actually be is not the case.
True.
Um, but yeah, so
It just don't make no
it,
sense.
it's wild, man. It's just wild because we'll go back to how she was charged, and that's what we need to look at is how she was charged. She was charged for possession and smuggling.
Smuggling. Smuggling.
Smuggling. So that's probably why the 10 years, the sentence that she got
Mm-hmm.
is how it is because they're saying she was trying to smuggle when in actuality she was not smuggling anything. She
At
just
all.
had a small amount of her own, well, obviously it was her own, a small amount of illegal drug in a country where they are now making a statement to the United States and to NATO about what they plan to do in the next coming years with the
Mm-hmm.
war that they have currently going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what they can do with teaming up with China and all that stuff. So,
It's just like, man, but it's good to see that everybody is back at her. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Like the fans, rallied around her, her family and friends, and initially was quiet, you know what I'm
mhm,
saying? But it first became public on March the 5th because she got
mhm.
detained back in February. Um,
Yep.
but at first it didn't become public until March 5th. And you know what I'm saying? While the United States and Russia has had a long, tense relationship regardless,
Mhm.
um, but like you said, man, it happened at such an inopportune time, bro. Like she was literally in the wrong place at the wrong time with some illegal shit. And now
Right.
she in this situation. And I mean, it's, it's definitely an unpopular opinion. Um, and I really hope that she's able to we're able to get her back over here because the WNBA needs Brittney.
Mhm.
Definitely one of those superstars. But we need to get her back. We definitely need to
Yep.
get Shorty back.
So spread your wisdom on this. What's your final thoughts on the situation?
Well, my wisdom on the situation is, just like you said, just kind of reiterating what you said, bro. Don't do illegal shit in other countries. Be on your P's and Q's. Make sure that you got all your shit together, especially if you're an American in another country. I mean,
Mhm.
they seem to try to like make an example out of us, especially because we're such a bully. Whenever these wars are talked about and things like that, other countries always ask us to come help. So we got to make sure that we are on our P's and Q's and not trying to and not being in that public eye and doing anything wrong that to get us in trouble, man. Because this, like we keep saying, it's just bad timing for Brittney.
Yep.
Bad timing for Brittney.
Yep.
Smuggling is crazy, but it's like hopefully we're able to come up with some kind of way to get Brittney back in the States to where she's safe and she's still doing her thing on the court and still
Mhm.
doing her thing in the community because it makes no sense for the amount that she had to have 9 years.
Right.
But hopefully we can do something to get BG back, man.
For sure. So the wisdom I'm going to spread about this and my final thoughts is when it comes to locking black people up for bogus drug charges, it seems like Russia and America have more in common than we think.
Facts though. Facts though. That boy is spitting. That's a fact though. That's facts.
Yo,
Facts.
but I mean, listen, all jokes aside though, Imma say when you're traveling when you're traveling abroad, you're traveling to these different countries, especially countries that we have tension with,
Mhm.
be careful because at a moment's notice, a pebble-sized mishap could turn into a mountain full of pain and trouble all around for you, for the
Bar.
country, for what I'm saying, for your family. Just be careful. Make sure that you're doing what you should be doing legally, because
For sure.
illegally they're gonna make an example out of you.
For sure. For sure.
So y'all let us know what you think about that in the comments as well. Happy to
Happy to talk
hear
about it for
what you're
sure. We
saying.
definitely want to interact with the people in the comments for sure.
All right, so Tom Brady and his wife, supermodel wife, Gisele Bundchen, recently finalized their divorce of 13 years, or I'm sorry, finalized their marriage of 13 years. Has been reported that Gisele has threatened to divorce Tom multiple times due to football injuries and the time requirements that go along with him being the GOAT that he is of quarterbacks and football in general.
Mhm.
Um, and and when when Tom retired, it was a step in good faith for their marriage, but then when he unretired, it supposedly infuriated Giselle, and which led them to the decision that we are currently at with the divorce.
Mhm.
What I'm interested to see from all of this, and let it see how it plays out, is how Tom performs moving forward. Because as of right now, this year he's been playing like pure boo boo.
He's been
Um,
dog shit.
s- him, not only him, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been
Mhm.
playing like trash as well. So I'm sure this has probably been weighing on him, knowing that they had to figure out what they were going to do moving forward.
Mhm.
So sixth question is, what do you think about Tom and Giselle in a divorce, or do you feel like Giselle was warranted in her decision and how she felt about football and Tom in general?
Yeah, man. So I definitely think it's tough, man, because whenever you're married to who is inevitably, not even arguably, but literally the GOAT, bro.
The walking goat.
The walking GOAT of Tom Brady. And you have to understand that number one, that man's a competitor. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? That man's a competitor. What his love of the sport is going to overtake a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And am I saying that it should overtake his marriage? Absolutely not. But whenever you're married to somebody like Tom Brady, you got to understand that a lot of the time that you desire to have with him is not going to be easy to come by. Because those guys in the NFL are gone for 7 months out of the year. From August up until February, they're playing football.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So those 7 months, you're not going to see him.
Well,
What you
especially
would,
in Tom's situation.
especially in Tom's situation, right? But
Yeah.
then even with March up until July, you have that time in the off season, but it's still going to be sparingly because he still needs to train, keep his body in shape. He still
Mhm,
needs to make sure that he's, on his P's and Q's as far as his playbook and still keeping his mind sharp. So with these athlete wives, man, like it's hard. It's hard for the athlete. You have to have some kind of work-life balance within that,
mhm.
but it's harder than I think it's a lot harder than a lot of these women understand, honestly. But is she
100%.
warranted? Is she warranted? 100%. Because you
Mhm,
want that time with your family. You want time to spend more time with the kids. You want time to, spend more time with her and have that intimacy within the relationship. But we talk about the GOAT, bro. Like there's no way. Like I wrote down just some of the notable stats that Tom Brady has
mm.
done, right?
Yep.
The only quarterback to win a Super Bowl in 3 separate decades,
Mhm,
the oldest NFL quarterback to start a Super Bowl at age 43, the oldest quarterback to start a Pro Bowl at 45, and the oldest quarterback to start a game at 44 for the Pro Bowl, but 45 to start a game in period. But he has led his teams to a record 7 Super Bowls:
mhm.
02, 04, or 5, 15, 17, 19, and now 21. He was named the most valuable player 5 times: 02, 04, 15, 17, and 21. Another couple of things. He ranks first all time in wins, Pro Bowls, Super Bowl MVPs, starts, completions, attempts, yards, touchdowns, 3 touchdown games, 4 touchdown games. That's just
The
regular
GOAT, we
season.
get it. He the GOAT.
He's the
He the GOAT.
GOAT, bro.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
the
we get it.
GOAT.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
But in Gisele's defense, for like the past 3 or 4 years now, she's been begging Tom to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Begging Tom to retire because like you said, the CTE, the damage on his body, the time with the family, the time with her, she's wanted those things for a while. But his love for the game, man, his competitive nature wouldn't allow him to leave the game, bro.
Yeah,
Wouldn't allow him.
absolutely. So, just listening to the stats that you rattled off, the first thing that popped in my mind is, damn, he been playing a long time.
He has been playing for a
Right?
grip, cuz.
Damn, he been playing a long time. And he got married to Gisele at 32.
Yep.
They've been married 13 years.
Yep.
In Gisele's defense, I'm marrying a football player at 32. He has to retire in 5 years.
Because at that time he had been in the league, what?
At
7
at
years, I
least
think? 7, 8
at
years?
least yeah, at least 7, 8 years.
Mhm, mhm.
So, it's like, okay, at some point in time, yeah, I'm going to compromise. I'm going to suppress who I am because she came into the marriage as a high profile woman as
Mhm,
well,
mhm.
as being a supermodel for Victoria's Secrets. I believe when they got married, she was making more money or bringing in more money than
I
Tom.
believe she was actually, yeah.
She was making 47 million a year, or
Mhm,
what at that time frame she was making 47 million. I don't know if it was consistent, but she had made 47 million that year.
mhm.
So it's not like she came into this marriage as a thought.
THOT. She want
Yeah, yeah,
that.
was not
What
that.
you what you what you said earlier, she want no random floozy.
She want no floozy. She want no floozy.
She want no
You know
random
what I'm saying?
floozy, right?
Yeah,
She was
but
a superstar herself, yeah.
she was a superstar in her own right. So she compromised, and that's what marriage is a bunch of compromises.
Mhm,
Um, Usually, in most cases, the woman is the one that does the most compromise, or I won't say she does the most, but she sacrifices more. Usually in marriages, especially when you have two powerful figures, the woman will say, "Okay, I will suppress who I am for a little bit." In hopes that down the line I can either do what I have been doing, or
mhm,
that I get the time that I want to have invested in this relationship.
right.
So, all that being said, she comes into the relationship with what she has. She suppressed who she was,
Mhm.
and this man is still playing at 45 years old. Nah,
Nah, dog.
this is not what I wanted out of this marriage.
Not at
Yeah, I
all.
gave him his time to do it. Now, at some point in time, he has to be invested in me. On the flip side of that,
Mhm,
she has to understand that, and women in general,
mhm.
and I know we shouldn't generalize, but
Right.
just understanding women and understanding men, women have to understand that if a man comes into a relationship a certain way, he's gonna be that person. You can't change him.
Agreed.
You can hope you can change him, but
Right,
you're not
agreed.
gonna change him. And if you the things that you liked about him, if being competitive, him being passionate about what he's doing, if that's something that you liked about him, that can't be an ultimate no or um deal breaker down the line. Because if that's the case, then I can understand why they have been fighting the last couple years,
Mhm.
because it's like, you knew who I was,
Right.
you knew what I was doing
Mhm.
when you met me, when we got married, when we had kids.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden this is no good for you.
Right.
I can't deal with that.
And like you said, man, especially for an athlete, because even myself now, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I want to get back out there. My
Mhm.
body ain't gonna agree with me, but I feel
No,
like I
for
want to
sure.
get back out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where if this man is still at the tip top shape of his life, even at even at 32, you know what I'm saying? If this
Mm,
man is at the tip top shape of his life, he still feels like he can go. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Then allow that man to follow his passions, because she said, obviously I have my concerns. This is a violent sport. I have my children. I would like him to be more present. I had definitely voiced those concerns with him over and over again, but ultimately I feel like everybody has to make a decision that works for them. He needs
Yep.
to follow his joy too. So she was understanding, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, within the times. But like you said, on the flip side, it's like, okay, this man is already in his shoot. He came in the league at 22. So if he's 32, he was 10 years in there.
Exactly. That's what I'm
He was
saying.
already 10 years in. The
He been
average
playing a long time.
career for an NFL player is 2.5 years. This man is already 10 years in. You know what I'm
You
saying?
feel me?
So, okay. So on the flip
So
side of
when
that,
she married him, she's like,
he
he
gotta
got to be
be on the
done.
back end. He gotta
He
be
got
on
to
the
be
back
done
end.
at some point in time, and we can, he'll probably find something else, but at least it won't be football. At least we'll have more time together.
So it's one of those
And
things where it's like, but again, like I said, if he still feels like he can go, of course you're gonna voice your concerns because of how he could it could damage him in the long run. But with the way the league is now and so many rules that they've made against quarterbacks, that man has no incentive to leave because you can't touch
because of Tom Brady.
because of Tom Brady. He has changed so
Yeah.
many rules in the NFL. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like he can go out there and play and not worry about getting hurt because the rules are catered to quarterbacks these days.
Yeah.
So and I can
But all it takes is one, especially in his old age. We talked about
Mhm.
Tua and his situation a couple
He's a
weeks
young
ago,
guy in
and
his
he's a
20s,
young
early
guy,
20s. Yeah.
right? And Tom Brady is 45, has been taking
45.
damage and hits for 20 plus years now. Her concerns are valid.
Very much so.
If Tom Brady was 27 years old, her concerns are valid.
Very much so.
But she knew what she was getting into when she was marrying Tom. Now, I don't think she expected to continue to be on this long 13 years into their marriage, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she she kind of I want to say she came into it thinking, okay, like you said, he might have maybe 5 more years, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
then we're gonna be able to, he gonna do his announcing thing, he might do, this, that, the third, we're gonna, be out in the community and we're gonna be the face of the community and be me and Tom are gonna be out here doing our thing and having a good time. But Tom was like, nah, bro, I love the game
Right.
too much. I love the
I
game too
love
much.
it.
I gotta go out here and win. And within those times, so they've been married 13 years. What's that? There's 22. So they've been married since what? 09? So within that time, though, he has won 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls and 1, 2, 3 MVPs. So he still was playing at a high level regardless over these past 13 years they've been married. So with that, she got to understand that this man is amazing. So why would he stop playing?
Exactly.
Why would he stop playing
Exactly.
if he's still playing at this high of a level? Why would he stop? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
like you said, marriage and relationships in general, especially marriage, are a bunch of compromises. You have to understand how this person operates and try to find the white line within that. You know what I'm saying? So that way y'all can number one come to an agreement and a healthy agreement within the marriage. So with her, with her, I think Tom should have probably took that more into consideration because I think a lot of the way he has done has been kind of selfish, honestly, just in my opinion. Especially
And what
with,
do you mean by that, though?
especially
There's
with,
a lot of this has been
just in
selfish.
the sense of it's been selfish in the sense of
And I'm not saying I
flirt,
don't agree with you. I just want clarification.
right? So not in the sense of him continuing to play, but him flirting with retirement and talking about retirement and then not doing it because he's talked about it. Not, I wouldn't say a lot, but he's flirted with it and hinted towards it a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that would give Gisele some kind of hope. Okay, cool. Yes, he's gonna be home. We going, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then he'll be like, you know what? No, I'm going back. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And sometimes he'll do it. He'll say, all right, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. This and the third might be retiring, blah, blah, blah. And then like a week before the season, no, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So a lot of that has some kind of, internal kind of, selfishness, self-righteousness in that because I still feel good. I can still go. I can win an MVP. You can win a Super Bowl. You still got that competitive nature. So there's some kind of self-righteousness, a little bit of selfishness in that too. But on Tom's defense, bro, like I still feel good. I can still go. If I felt like that at 37, I'll be out there too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Yeah.
I have a 15-year-old daughter. I don't have a wife or anything. I'm not married, but at the same time, it's like I have a 15-year-old little girl that I would be taking time away from, and I know she would feel that, and she would probably voice her concerns. But within that, like, dude, I'm bringing in millions and millions of dollars a year. We gonna be all right. And that's,
Yep.
I mean, but she has
So
all the right in the world to feel how she feels, though, 100%.
yeah, so it's two trains of thoughts with this. Again, we are complex individuals
Yeah.
by ourselves. So I know in a relationship, the complexities, the magnitude of the complexities, goes up 3, 4 times.
Hmm.
But there's two trains of thoughts with this. A woman is only going to play her role and be happy with the situation she's going to be happy to sacrifice in a situation, marriage or relationship with a man or any relationship that she gets in for so long.
Right.
She's only gonna be able to do that for so long. At some point in time, she's gonna, say, I've gave all I can,
Hmm.
I've invested all I can in a relationship. Now I'm giving up on this relationship.
Hmm.
And that's what it seems like Giselle has done.
Hmm.
On the flip side of that, I would say if Tom was or is this passionate about football, he could have retired last year
Could have, 100%,
and
and been
then
on
but
top.
and been on top, but easily have found something else that would have consumed his time as well.
True.
Because, as men, we're wired to work and provide.
Hmm. Hmm.
If we don't do that, then essentially we're worthless in our eyes
In our
and
eyes, yeah, very true.
to the media and the public eye. We're worthless.
Hmm.
But some men don't know when to stop. Some men don't know when they've provided enough or when they have enough to continue to provide without putting in the work, and they just keep going. They just don't know when to stop. And I think Tom is in that in between part. He doesn't know when to stop, and he doesn't know that he's not worthless. He's the GOAT. I mean, I think
Right.
he knows that he's the GOAT.
I think he does too. I
I
think he
shouldn't
does
say
too.
that, but he probably feels like he's trying to squeeze as much juice out of his football life as he can, to make sure it's nobody that can touch his status of being who he is. And just unfortunately, it's been to the detriment of his marriage and his family.
I think that the crazy part about that statement though is I think Tom Brady has known that he's been the GOAT for the past half decade, bro. Like
Mhm.
I don't the discussions around Tom Brady for some years now has been that he's the greatest of all time.
Mhm.
And honestly to me there's no question that he is. There's no question that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. So and
Yep.
I think he's known that for a while. I think he could have long time ago retired and been the GOAT.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But he just if he's squeezing everything that he can out of his career, that rag is dry, my boy. He has wrung that washcloth out. There ain't no more juice in that motherfucker, boy. Nothing else is
Yeah.
in there. There's nothing else in there. I honestly think that this is Tom Brady's last year.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't think so.
So the Buccaneers are playing terrible.
Mhm.
He just got a divorce from his wife, who's been trying to get him divorced and leave football for a long time now.
Yep.
He just recently had an Achilles injury. Not
Okay.
not that it's a torn Achilles, but he had an Achilles injury. I think he's strained or something like that.
Mhm.
I honestly think everything that Giselle has been saying over the past 13 years is catching up with him. I think it's catching up with
So
him.
I think differently than you. I don't think we
But what I also think though is that he's gonna play again out of spite.
I don't think he's gonna play. I think Tom Brady just loves football that much that he's willing to sacrifice a little bit of pain, with his family. Because what I didn't know is he had another kid
Outside of the
before
relationship, yep.
well, it wasn't outside of the relationship. It was just before
Well,
Giselle and him married.
that was the wrong terms, but yes,
Yeah, yeah,
before,
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I didn't know that. And then he has 2 so he has legacy that comes behind him.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sure, like, their relationship, while it's gonna be awkward initially, their relationship probably won't change. They both have said that him and Giselle have both said that they will continue to co-parent and
Mm-hmm.
have a good relationship. They're still on speaking terms. It's
Right.
just this or and good terms in generals for what both of them have said in the media. We don't know behind private doors how they actually are,
Right.
but So you can only imagine that, the kids will still be good. He's good with that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if Tom Brady could die on the football field, he would.
I tend to agree with you with that. I think that I don't think he's a man that will lie down
He's
to
not just gonna sit
adversity.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not gonna
yeah.
lie down to adversity. This is adversity to Tom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The bad season that they're having, the injury that he's going through, the divorce that he's going through. This is adversity, and a lot of athletes are going to try to fight through and overcome that adversity. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But with that being said, though, I just you know what? I think you're right. I think you're right. I think with that being said, with him trying to overcome this adversity, I think he's going to come back at least for one more year and
Mhm.
try to play again and overcome this adversity and not go out in this manner.
Yeah, I feel yeah, again, I think I'm gonna go the opposite of what you just said. I feel like you agree
He's
with
gonna
me,
play as
but
long as he can. He's gonna die on the field.
he's so he is going to play. So you know how most athletes say that they hope that they can go out on their terms, like they still on top,
Mm-hmm.
that they, you know, nobody they can't make the team, and that's how they know they need to retire or nobody
Mm-hmm.
wants them.
Right.
I don't think Tom Brady cares about that. He was already the last pick of his draft, so
Mm-hmm.
he's far surpassed the expectations of what he is supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
as a quarterback. Now it's just like, well, I mean, I'm gonna play until somebody says, "Nah, Tom, you just can't do it anymore. We don't want you."
Right.
That's how I feel like what he's gonna do. Because if he was gonna retire, he should have retired after the last Super Bowl he
Yeah.
won. He
After
was on
2021,
top.
for sure. Last
Everybody
year.
said he for sure was oh, they won last year?
Yeah, 2021. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah, he should have retired last year.
Yeah.
Everybody saying, "Yeah, Tom is the absolute GOAT." But now he comes back, he has this type of season, and because it's really the same team that they had last year minus Antonio Brown
For sure.
and
Yep.
2 or
Exactly
3
same
other
team. Yep.
people.
And
So
they added Julio. So
and they added Julio, so it's the same team, so it's not like he doesn't have the pieces around him on offense, and
very true.
they're not playing good on offense at all.
But you know what's crazy
Um,
is he's not necessarily having a bad season. He's got 2,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's not having a bad season, but
but the Bucks aren't
the
winning.
Bucks aren't winning exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. If he was gonna retire, he should have retired last year, won the Super Bowl he was Super Bowl MVP, right?
Mhm.
Super Bowl MVP, you go out, you hit the sunset riding your white horse and you good. Now you come back, you in his standards, he has to come back next year to prove that he can win games and potentially go to the Super Bowl and win it.
Yeah.
If not, if not, when does he stop? Is all I'm saying.
I don't think there's a Father
Exactly.
Time has not caught up to Tom Brady yet, bro. Which is a
Exactly.
crazy thing, but it's on it's grabbing at his
It's
heels. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah.
But he just I think he had somebody's gonna have to tell Tom Brady, like you said, like, bro, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta let it go,
why are
bro.
you still planning on coming out here? You know what I'm saying? It's somebody's gonna have to sit Tom Brady down and tell him, like, nah, dog. Like,
Yep.
it's time for you to chill. Like, you've done
Yep.
everything, you've accomplished everything. You're not
Everything, literally
literally,
everything.
literally everything. Like,
Yeah, other than passing yards, but as a quarterback, you've done everything
every single thing
that
that
you
you can
need to
do.
do.
Yep, everything that you need to do. And it's like you can chill, Tom. You can chill.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna have to sit him
Yeah.
down and tell him that. But I mean, like you said, bro, when is that? When is Tom? Tom is gonna play till he 50. He 45
Yeah,
years old right now. He gonna play till he 50 years old.
I think he may try to do that,
But
honestly.
yeah. I'm a retract. I'm a retract myself. I think you're right. I think he's gonna try to die on the field, man. Not literally, but like you said,
Right.
you know what I'm saying. But with
Especially now that he's not married.
especially now that he's not married, he don't have a Giselle don't have a right to be in his ear no more. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Other than for the kids, but the
exactly.
kids can voice their own opinions. He got 3 boys. You know what I'm saying? The kids
Exactly.
can voice their own opinions, but you know, I try to put myself in Tom's shoes sometimes though. Like, what would I do? But I already know if I feel like I can go, I'm gonna go. If I feel like
as
I can play,
all
I'm gonna
men will.
play.
I mean, just let's take football out of it. Let's put your normal 9 to 5 guy in that role. If he's passionate about something outside of his job, it's just in this instance, football is Tom's job.
Right.
But let's put a hobby as for Tom. You tell a guy he can't do that anymore because it's taking the time away from the relationship, and you knew that's what he was passionate about before he came into the relationship. That's tension already. Somebody tell you Sticks, you start to date a girl, you were a gamer before you dated her, and now she gets in a relationship, she knows that you're a gamer, but now you playing a game is an issue for her. You gonna tell
Listen,
her to kick rocks.
D-Lo, I have lost relationships because of it.
Yeah,
It's already happened. It's already happened.
yeah.
And
It's just
the crazy thing is, and I know Tom Brady is the same way because a lot of athletes are very structured individuals, right?
mhm,
The crazy thing is that in my situation, I know how to manage my time very, very, very well.
mhm,
If one thing I can do is I can time manage. So I even in the situation that I was in, I would always make time for family, personal time, things of that nature. But I'm gonna game. I
mhm.
have a whole gaming company. I'm gonna
Like
game.
depress,
That's how that's one of the things that a lot of
decompress.
a lot of women don't understand that a lot of men's outlets are what keep them from getting in trouble.
Mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Gaming is my club. I
mhm.
don't go to the bar. I don't go to the club. I don't put myself in those situations because I'm right here with my boys on the mic, having a beer, playing the game. That's what we do.
Yep.
And like you said, it's like it put myself in that situation. I have legit lost relationships because of gaming, so that takes it back to Tom Brady. Like that's his outlet.
That's his outlet.
And
That's who he
but
is.
the issue is that his outlet is also his job.
That exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. So it's like, dog, like, how do you expect this man to, number one, leave his outlet and leave his job? So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard for Gisele. It was a hard situation for Gisele to be in because of that point. But
Mhm.
you got to understand where she coming from because it's like, bro, like,
Completely
like
understand.
when is it going to end, my dog? Like,
It's
like
comp
when?
we are I think that's gonna be my going forward in this podcast
Yeah,
is I think that's gonna be my stance. I'm gonna look at the situation from both
both
sides.
sides.
Not that I'm on the fence,
Right, right,
but
right,
we're
right, right.
just complex
We're
individuals, man,
complex
and
individuals. Yeah,
there are many complexities that go to any situation that we talk about
very
that
true. Very
you
true.
we can look at and say, "Hmm, I see that person's side. I see this side of it, right?"
Hmm.
And again, it's not that you're sitting the fence, you're just taking the information that you got and coming up with a decision of your own.
For sure.
How I feel about the situation and my final thoughts on it is that women have to understand that you're not going to change a man.
Hmm.
You can try all you want to, you're not going to change who they are. What they were doing before you got together is what they're going to continue to do as the relationship goes on.
Hmm.
They might taper down what they do a little bit for a short period of time just so you're happy and
Hmm.
so that the relationship can try to flourish, but eventually they're going to get back to what they were doing.
Hmm.
Men have to understand that women will be submissive and they will compromise in most relationships to get what they want. So if they want a family, they understand that you do XYZ and they may have came in with something, they'll suppress that for a time to get what they want. And
Hmm.
in hopes that down the line, you're going to come around and do what they want you to do.
Hmm.
But again, as I mentioned earlier, it's only so much that they can give and give and give until they give up on a relationship.
Hmm. Agreed. And again, my final thoughts are you you have to just like we were saying, just like D'Lo said earlier, relationships, marriages are all about compromise. So you have to be able to at some point put your own personal feelings to the side
Mhm,
and have that conversation with your spouse or with your significant other of how to make sure that we're coming to the right decision together, you know?
mhm,
And both sides are going to always voice their opinions, and both sides are going to
Yep.
always have the marriage or the relationship's best interests at heart and how they feel everything can be as close to perfect as possible. But
Mhm.
as long as you're both talking things out and you're both coming to a common ground, at least coming to a common ground, or at the very least agreeing to disagree, everything will be copacetic. Everything will be great. So, but in this situation, they both had very, very, very good arguments towards the other.
Mhm.
Um, some points on each side may be more selfish than others, but you have to figure out exactly how to keep things on the side of happy, on the side of great, on the side of, wonderful. If you don't,
Mhm.
then you're gonna end up in a situation like this where, like Delo said, it's only so much she gave so much and she compromised so much to the point where it was like, you know what, I gotta go. It's not working. So,
Right.
you know,
I wish you the best, but I
the,
gotta do me too. I gotta
exactly.
do me.
I got
I gotta do
I
what's
gotta
best
do
for
what's
me.
best. we're not bashing women, but it was just it fit for the moment. But
Right.
that's funny. But but all the best to Tom, all the best to Gisele. I know, like you said, they're really good friends. They're really really good
Mhm.
friends, and they came to a common ground as far as the divorce was concerned, and which I heard was very very quick, and it was very easy to come to a common ground with them. But
Yeah.
they said they're gonna be really really good co-parents for the kids, and it's all gonna be great. Just hopefully Tom is able to find some time in his busy career to
Mhm.
figure things out in that in that standpoint, because it's getting to that time. It's almost there, bro. It's almost
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah. So let us know what you think about Tom Brady and Giselle, or Tom Brady in general, and when he plans to retire, down in the comments.
For sure. For sure.
All right, Sticks. Man, episode 8, season
Episode
1
season 1, episode 8 in the books, my boy. In the
in the
books.
books.
Yes,
In the
sir.
books. Yeah, so again, we appreciate everybody that's tuning in. As Sticks mentioned earlier, we hit our goal of 100 subscribers on YouTube. We've getting downloads for our podcast on the various streaming platforms. We appreciate all the love we've been
Mm-hmm.
getting, and we hope that you continue to rock with us. So you enjoy what we talk about each and every week.
100%,
Offer
guys.
some topics that you want us to talk about when it's dealing with sports and entertainment. We'd be happy to take those in and give it consideration for using them as a segment in our podcast.
100%.
But with that being said, we holler at y'all next time.
Peace.